Growing up, I always suspected I wasn't my parents' biological child because of how differently they treated Ethan and me. I asked Mom countless times where I came from, and she'd always say they found me in a trash can. Chapter 1. When Mom first told me I was a trash can baby, my heart shattered, yet suddenly everything made sense. No wonder Ethan got new holiday clothes while I wore his threadbare hand-me-downs. No wonder relatives' treats like milk candies, orange sodas, and Kool-Aid always mysteriously vanished before I could have any. No wonder Ethan roamed the village freely while I stood on wobbly stools washing dishes, scrubbing laundry, and peeling vegetables. No wonder Mom would snap. "He's a boy. You can't win against him, why even try?" Whenever we fought. Of course a discarded child wouldn't receive equal love. Sophia was the other foundling in our village. Rumor said Mr. and Mrs. Taylor treated her kindly at first, until their biological son arrived. Overnight, Sophia became excess baggage banished to a drafty woodshed. Her days spent scrubbing floors and her belly perpetually empty. Whenever the baby wailed, Mrs. Taylor would beat Sophia bloody with a bamboo broom, screaming, "I should have left you to die. No one else would waste food on trash like you." Malnourished and forced into boyish buzzcuts with oversized rags for clothes, Sophia became the village pariah. I found her weeping silently in a crumbling shrine that autumn afternoon, her bony shoulders shaking beneath a torn shirt revealing whip marks like crimson worms on pale skin. Hesitantly, I offered my treasured rock candy wrapped in notebook paper. We sat watching wind ripple through golden grass, our patched clothes fluttering. "Do you think," she whispered, "our real parents are rich? That they're searching for us?" I kicked at dirt, sending ants scurrying. "If they wanted us," I muttered, "why abandon us in the first place?" Sophia discovered my adoption secret but kept it sacred. Our friendship bloomed in stolen moments, me sneaking Ethan's discarded pens to her, he had dozens anyway. Her risking broken limbs to pick mulberries from towering trees. I'd dig up fat sweet potatoes from our field, she'd save mouth-puckeringly sour green oranges from market scraps. We fantasized about being long-lost sisters. Our real parents being county tycoons. Our future selves escaping to cities like New York or Los Angeles glimpsed on TV. One twilight, as fireflies emerged, Sophia said something that still haunts me, "Emily, you're luckier than me." She wasn't wrong. When we had chicken soup, Ethan got the drumstick while Emily, had the wing. His allowance was 50 cents. Mine was 10. When I got sick with a cough, Mom wasn't nearly as worried as when Ethan fell ill. But if I didn't recover after a month, she'd still take me to the local clinic for a shot. I never dared act spoiled or make unreasonable demands. Mom often boasted to others, "Our Emily is truly sensible." I had to be good because I feared being abandoned. I didn't want to become that parentless wild child roaming the streets. Though I had 3 square meals and the potbelly typical of kids, I constantly felt hollow inside. It wasn't until later that I understood while my body was nourished, my soul starved. Without enough love and connection, I drifted like a kite with its string cut, vulnerable to any breeze that might carry me to unknown places. Ethan, 3 years my senior, loved teasing me but excelled academically. He'd memorize textbooks after a few readings, always topping his class. Back then I didn't realize his brilliance, meant to shine, only highlighted my dullness as the unremarkable adopted girl. That summer before kindergarten, cicadas buzzing in our dilapidated yard, Ethan tried teaching me to count to 100. I kept stumbling at multiples of 10. "Even pigs aren't this dumb," he'd snap. When I struggled with homework, he'd scowl, "Stop bothering me." Dad showed no patience either. "Were your ears stuffed with cotton in class?" Mom sighed. "Maybe school isn't your path." Truth be told, we can't afford both your educations. Finish middle school and work to support your brother. Relatives praised Ethan during holidays, "Such a smart boy. Your golden ticket for old age." Occasionally they'd ask my grades. Then smile, good enough. Emily can help fund Ethan's college after junior high. Girls just need to marry well anyway. Now these notions outrage me. Why sacrifice one child's future for another's? But back then, it was normal. Rural families rationed resources, often sidelining girls for sons, especially an adopted. Average girl like me destined to be Ethan's stepping stone. I turned 10 the year Mom promised me a solo birthday and pink party dress. Waking that morning, I found the house empty. Maybe they'd gone to get my dress. I eagerly went to collect final exams, 10th in class. The first time I cracked the top 10 in class rankings. I even won 3rd place in the county essay competition. The prize was a notebook. Everything seemed perfect until I ran into Tyler and his gang on my way back to the village. He slung his arm around my shoulders. "Hey little Emily. Let's go mussel hunting by the river." I said no. I shoved his arm away. "And stop calling me that." Tyler smirked. "Stop wearing your brother's hand-me-downs then. Put on a dress and we'll treat you like a real girl." The other boys snickered. My face burned. Fine. My mom promised to buy me a dress today. Just wait and see. All afternoon I imagined twirling through the village in my new pink dress, showing those bullies exactly who I was. I waited by the window until dusk when Mom and Dad finally returned with Ethan. Their faces glowed as they hauled shopping bags bursting with new clothes, crisp button-downs, sneakers with neon laces, Math Olympiad workbooks. "Emily," Mom gushed. "Ethan aced the entrance exam for Southridge Prep. This practically guarantees his spot at Lincoln High next year." Her voice faded as I frantically searched through the bags. No pink fabric. No ribbons. Nothing. "Where's my dress?" My voice cracked. Mom blinked. "What dress?" "You promised. For my birthday. You said." "Oh, for heaven's sake." She waved a dishcloth. "Dresses aren't practical here. Ethan outgrew this polo last summer. It's practically new. We'll celebrate both your birthdays this weekend with fried chicken." The dam broke. "You always forget me. I'm not even your real daughter. Why did you even take me from the orphanage if..." The slap left my ear ringing. Dad loomed over me, breath sour with tobacco. "Show respect. Your mother nearly died giving birth to you. We're not made of money. You ungrateful." The flickering bulb cast jagged shadows as I turned to Mom, trembling. "Am I really yours?" She snorted. "Who else would claim you?" We wanted another son to help Ethan, but got stuck with this melodrama over some stupid skirt. Outside, storm clouds swallowed the stars. The moment I realized I was their biological child, tears gushed from my eyes. Countless questions and grievances choked in my throat as I stared at my parents' angry, disgusted faces. I turned and fled into the ink-dark night. Why? If I'm truly theirs, why must I always wait to celebrate my birthday with Ethan's? Why must I constantly yield to my brother? Why does golden boy Ethan get the full moon while I'm left with fireflies? I ran all the way to the hilltop shrine, sobbing until moonlight stretched Sophia's shadow toward me. She still wore her pesticide-stained work clothes from the fields, but her hands were scrubbed clean as she offered a pink floral dress. "Bought this in town for you. Stop crying. We're both foundlings anyway. I'll be your sister now. Happy birthday, Emily." I shook my head, voice cracking. "Sophia. Mom told me tonight. I'm actually their real daughter." The crickets chirped through her long silence before she thrust the dress into my arms. "Doesn't change anything, Emily." We sat watching clouds scud across the moon until Mom's frantic calls echoed from the foot of the hill. Sophia stood, brushing dirt from her threadbare shorts. Her legs bloomed with fresh bruises as she smiled backlit by moonlight. "I was wrong. It does matter. At least your mom comes looking when you disappear." Next morning, Big Tooth and the others gawked at my new dress, finally stopping their little brother Emily taunts. But that evening at the creek cooling off, Mrs. Taylor sneered. Where's that store-bought dress Sophia got you? Emily? That girl's got talent. 10 years I raised her without so much as a knitted scarf. But your precious birthday makes her steal money for fancy clothes. Villagers turned like vultures. Saw that new dress this morning. Tiny thing already mooching off others. Who knew Sophia was a thief? What else would you expect from trash bin babies? My ears buzzed as I shouted. She didn't steal anything. Sophia's hoarse voice cut through the murmurs. I sold honeysuckle and tea seeds. She limped into the firelight. Arms mottled with whip marks. Every cent was mine. Mrs. Taylor's face purpled. Yours? You eat my food. Wear my rags. Every penny you find belongs to me. She yanked Sophia's hair, dragging her past the silent crowd. Sophia's eyes met mine through the dust cloud, 2 fireflies trapped in separate jars. She grabbed a plastic sandal and slapped it across Sophia's face with a whoosh, sending her stumbling backward. The aunties rushed to intervene while Mrs. Taylor kept cursing. You little bastard. Ungrateful wretch. We fed you and clothed you all these years. Under the dim moonlight, Sophia leaned against the camphor tree, silent and trembling. My heart broke as Mom yanked my arm, shouting, Since when do we accept charity? Do I starve you? Where's that dress? We're returning it now. Passing Sophia. Her cold fingers brushed mine, paper-thin and reeking of blood. Though she never spoke, I understood. Mom dragged me harder until Sophia released her grip. Give it back! Mom wrestled the dress from my arms. This was Emily's gift. I pleaded. I'll pay the Taylors someday. You buy Ethan everything. Enough. Mom's eyes reddened. The whole village mocks us. Even you shame me now. She stormed to the pond and threw the dress at Mrs. Taylor. Keep your rags. I'll buy my Emily proper clothes. Mrs. Taylor sneered. Big talker. When did you ever? Next morning, Mom bought me a $25 dress from town, ill-fitting with sagging armholes and hem dragging the floor. Wear it everywhere, she ordered. Especially near the Taylors. Though everyone complimented the dress. Even Sophia. I hated it. After one wear, I folded it away until middle school, when I discovered the once oversized gown now barely covered my thighs. After turning 10, I changed. I played openly with Sophia, fought Ethan for drumsticks, demanded fairness during family arguments. When Dad swung the broom, I'd flee barefoot screaming I'm right. Mom often sighed. Did some ghost possess my girl? You used to be so well behaved until you started hanging out with Sophia every day. She's the one who corrupted you. Sophia once asked me, does rebelling against your parents every day actually help? Truth is, it doesn't make much difference. They say the squeaky wheel gets the grease. But that's only if your mother truly loves you. If all you're given is a crumb of affection, even the loudest tantrum might only earn you one extra piece of candy. Life's complicated. Though, people aren't simply good or bad. Mom had her own struggles too. Back when my uncles and 2 aunts settled in the city, my youngest aunt invited our family to a New Year's dinner there. She specifically reminded Mom, sis-in-law, get yourself some new clothes. If you look too shabby, the city restaurants won't let you in. Mom rarely bought me clothes, let alone herself. She ended up skipping the dinner, claiming illness. That night, she whispered to me with red-rimmed eyes, your dad's relatives all look down on me. The only way I'll earn their respect is by making sure your brother succeeds. What about me? I protested. I could make you proud too. Mom froze. Then murmured, you're a girl, and not as clever as your brother. Don't blame me. I've done all I can. Maybe I should have accepted my fate, a forgetful, slow girl doomed to mediocrity. Even simple homework took me till 9 or 10 at night. But Sophia refused to let me quit. If we give up now, she said, we'll be nothing but irredeemable sludge in some pond. Keep fighting, and there's at least a sliver of hope. Our struggles differed. While I wrestled with basic algebra, Sophia battled Mr. and Mrs. Taylor's relentless pressure to drop out of school. Years passed. My city-dwelling aunts and uncles faced their own crises when state factories collapsed, forcing them into early retirement with meager severance packages. Their kids, ironically, turned out far less gifted than my brother. The year I started middle school, brother got into the top high school. Mom wept with joy. Wait till he enters a good university, she said. Then we'll see who dares look down on us. For folks like us, education was the only escape route burned into our bones. Sophia, a grade ahead, reunited with me in middle school. Every morning before 6, she'd wait outside my house on brother's rusty old bike, ready to pedal us 5 kilometers to school. Frostbit mornings turned our breath into ghostly plumes as she drilled me on vocabulary, math formulas, and textbook passages. The bike chain clattered like loose change, dawn birds cawing overhead. During uphill climbs, Sophia would straighten her back, pumping the pedals hard while correcting my recitations. Oh, I never mentioned, Sophia outshone even brother. Photographic memory. Patience surpassing our teachers. Yet our brains worked differently. Her favorite frustration during study sessions was, "This problem's almost identical to the one you messed up last week. How do you still not get it?" During my first midterm exams in 7th grade, I ranked only around 20th in my class and fell beyond 100th place in the grade. I felt utterly defeated. Despite being arguably the hardest worker in my class or even the entire grade, my results made my efforts seem laughable. I told Sophia, maybe my mom was right, I'm just not cut out for this. Sophia asked, are you really willing to be fertilizer for your brother? To let him sink roots into your life, sucking up nutrients to grow taller while you wither away? Of course not, I snapped. Sophia hugged me tightly. Even I haven't given up on you yet. How can you think this way? Some people bloom later. Our homeroom teacher said there was a student 2 grades above us who suddenly clicked in 9th grade, jumped from 100th to 5th in the grade and got into first high. Our rural middle school's teaching quality is poor, I muttered. Out of 200 students, fewer than 10 make it to first high each year. Face it, I'm just average. To cheer me up, Sophia spent her savings taking me to the county town that weekend. Pathetically, my only previous visits there had been to my aunt's house. The 20-kilometer bike ride from our village left us sweaty and exhausted. We couldn't afford the yuan minivan fare. Everything in town seemed expensive. We window shopped until Sophia insisted on spending 5 yuan for matching photo booth pictures. We grinned awkwardly with peace signs, the resulting stickers capturing our gawky teenage selves perfectly. Walking along the Xiang River tributary, strong winds tangled my hair. On a telephone pole, I spotted a missing child poster, parents seeking their daughter lost over a decade ago. The grainy photo showed a chubby toddler with a mole near her eye. This kid has a mark like yours. I nudged Sophia. She touched her facial scar. This isn't a mole, I got stabbed playing as a child. Besides, she's fair and plump. I'm dark and skinny. Her smile faded. You still hoping? Those calls I made to possible families, always disappointments. Maybe my parents are like Mr. Smith. She continued bitterly. They wanted sons. Why would they look for me? Mr. Smith had 5 daughters, 3 given away, and now Mrs. Smith was pregnant again. Convinced by fortune tellers it's finally a boy. I squeezed her hand. When I have kids, I'll only want 1 daughter. Sophia laughed. Biology doesn't work that way. Only powerful women like Lily get to choose. Lily, our neighboring village's first female college graduate now living in the provincial capital, famously shut down relatives demanding grandsons. If you want boys, find another daughter-in-law. I don't need their money, why tolerate their opinions? Old villagers clucked about her forgetting ancestral ways through book learning. As we left town, Sophia bought stinky tofu and sweet glutinous rice balls with our last 2 yuan, the most delicious meal I'd ever tasted. After that, I tried stinky tofu many times but could never recapture that original flavor. I wanted to become Lily Carter, not Mrs. Smith. Returning from the county town, I reined in my scattered thoughts and studied harder, yet only ranked 16th in my class during final exams. Sophia comforted me, "Don't rush. You still have time." But she herself had none left. After summer, she'd enter 9th grade while her brother started junior high. Though Sophia always ranked first in her grade, earning tuition waivers and living stipends, Mr. and Mrs. Taylor remained adamant. "What's the use of girls studying so much? Your cousin's factory needs workers. After all we've raised you, it's time to repay us." Though 9-year compulsory education was mandatory, unfinished middle school educations remained common in our village. Nobody interfered with family matters. Despite Sophia's pleas and resistance, her parents stood firm. Mrs. Taylor declared even if she tested into the top high school, I wouldn't pay. If she went to college, she'd fly away forever. Would an ungrateful wretch like her remember her parents? Better not educate her too much. The cruelty of human nature chilled me to the bone. Fearing Sophia might escape, the Taylors locked her in their house, windows and doors secured, waiting for her cousin to take her to the factory, barred from entering their yard. I stood on the country path watching Sophia press her face against the window, rusted iron bars distorting her flushed cheeks. Those usually bright, determined eyes brimmed with unshed tears. Though she didn't cry, I couldn't stop my own. Sophia mouthed soundlessly, "Don't cry. This is my fate." Why? This brilliant girl destined to soar like an eagle. This vibrant soul meant to shine like a peacock, why break her wings and trap her in this mud? I had to act. I sought the village chief, who sighed. I've urged them countless times. Such promising material. But Mr. Taylor won't listen. It's family business. Begging my mother helped nothing. Sophia's fate is bitter. She frowned. But how can I meddle in others' parenting? I emptied my 20 yuan savings and walked from village paths to town, then county, memorizing every slim chance helpline number. I spent all my money on an IC card to make calls. No matches. None. Even the police came, lecturing the Taylors. But underage Sophia remained under their guardianship. After officers left, Sophia got beaten while Mrs. Taylor screeched at the village entrance, "She's my daughter. I'll make her work or marry as I please." Busybodies should watch their legs unless they want them broken. Night fell heavy with storm clouds. The sickly moon drowned in darkness. Through the broken window pane, I stealthily pushed a steamed bun inside, urgently whispering Sophia Taylor. After a prolonged silence, she gradually rose from bed, leaning against walls to approach the window. The moonlight proved too feeble to illuminate her abyssal eyes. "I'm sorry," I choked repeatedly. "I only wanted to save you. I never thought." Her hand emerged through shattered glass, jagged edges carving crimson trails across her pallid skin. She showed no reaction to the wounds, icy fingertips brushing my tear-stained face. "It's all right," Sophia murmured. "I'm accustomed to this. Don't waste your efforts, they'll punish you too if discovered." Emily. Her cracked lips formed the first genuine smile I'd seen in years. "I'll never attend high school or college. Could you see the university world for me?" I nodded violently, choking on promises I barely believed. The yard dogs began barking as Mr. Taylor's drunken curses erupted from the west wing. Sophia shoved me away with sudden force. "Go! Now! Sleep evaded me that night. When I finally drowsed past dawn, sunlight stabbed my swollen eyes. Mother hung laundry in the courtyard, squinting against the glare. Sophia's cousin came at first light. She said without turning, "Took her away." The hollowed space in my chest defied filling. Solitude transformed me into a study automaton, between stolen tea leaves and embroidery needles kept for stabbing my thighs during late-night study sessions. I haunted teachers' offices with shameless persistence. Most educators tolerated my desperation, though their patience wore thinner than my second-hand sweaters. Memories ambushed me, constantly pedaling my rusted bicycle past Sophia's empty house, mouthing English vocabulary she'd never learn, staring at street food vendors where we'd shared stolen bauzi. Months blurred until Lunar New Year decorations appeared. Returning migrant workers flooded the village roads. Sophia remained conspicuously absent. Mrs. Taylor stood shrieking at the crossroads, spittle flying as she denounced that ungrateful Taylor family bastard. $6,000 bride price offered. After all the rice I wasted raising that factory trash. The epiphany warmed me like stolen sunlight during the chaotic spring festival travel rush. Sophia had finally escaped the assembly line purgatory. I was happy for her. But if she never came back, we might never see each other again. Still, I held on to my promise and studied relentlessly. By the end of 8th grade, I ranked 10th in my class. My brother Ethan, who boarded at school and came home once a month, always demanded money for tutoring fees or study materials. Though our parents struggled, they gave him whatever he asked for. He changed, wearing trendy white shirts and bell-bottoms, even secretly getting his ears pierced, but his report card showed he was ranked 50th in his grade. If he kept it up, he could get into a good university. Compared to him, my 10th place finish felt insignificant. At the start of 9th grade, I received a letter from Sophia. She wrote that she worked at a clothing store, earning commissions to support herself. She gave me her online username and made me swear not to mention her to the Taylors. At the end, she added, "Emily, you must study hard. Don't give up. I want to visit a university someday, and you'll be my guide." I treasured that letter, locking it in my drawer. But one day, I found Mom holding it, her voice tense. "Sophia contacted you?" My heart raced as I snatched it back. "Why were you going through my things?" Mom scoffed. "She ghosts her own parents but writes to you?" I pleaded. "Don't tell the Taylors." She snapped. "Watch your tone, I'm your mother." That weekend, despite Ethan being home, Mom claimed his college prep was too exhausting and dragged me to harvest sweet potatoes. We ran into Mrs. Taylor, who ranted about Sophia, that ungrateful brat should rot out there. Mom smirked. "Sophia's probably doing just fine." Mrs. Taylor narrowed her eyes. "How'd you know?" Panicking, I blurted. "She didn't tell us anything." Mom jabbed her shovel into the dirt. "No news means she's smart enough to survive." Walking home, Mom muttered, "The Taylors treated Sophia horribly. Escaping was her only choice. If you write back, tell her to marry rich while she's young." I'd never give that advice. For over a year, I'd secretly saved money to call every lead on adoption searches, jotting down even the faintest clues. Most were dead ends. But I refused to stop. Now that I had Sophia Taylor's QQ, I treated a boy in my class, Tyler Brown, who knew how to use the internet, to some orange soda and asked him to help me set up an account. Back then, QQ was still a novelty and I didn't know how to use computers. Every time, I'd write down what I wanted to say. Tyler would go to internet cafes to log into my QQ, send messages to Sophia, then bring her replies back to me. It wasn't as convenient as WeChat is now, but freed from physical mailing addresses. It was much easier than writing letters. I never stopped helping her search for her biological parents. Whenever I found potential leads, I'd share Sophia's QQ with them so they could contact her directly. Her most frequent messages to me were, "Emily, focus on your studies and stop wasting your time. My birth parents aren't looking for me." How could this be a waste? What if her family was truly searching for her? Carrying this responsibility, I dared not slack off. One night around 11 p.m. while struggling with physics problems, I jabbed my fingertip with a needle to stay awake. My mother happened to see this when she got up to use the bathroom. She stood by my desk for a long moment before saying, "Emily, if you test into first high school, I'll send you there too." Really? As long as you can get in like your brother did. Unloved children are so easily satisfied. In that moment, no matter how she'd favored him before, I forgave her completely in my heart. Freed from this burden, my academic pressure lessened. Though I gritted my teeth through countless study sessions, I only managed 5th place in our class before the entrance exams. My homeroom teacher reassured me, "Just stay steady, you still have a good chance." The night before the exam, I dreamed of Sophia. Her blood-streaked hand touched my cheek as she whispered, "You can do this, Emily." I performed to the best of my ability during the test. I'd done all I could. Now it was up to fate. The day after exams, my brother's college acceptance results were due. Mom had been repeating for weeks. He said the tests went well. Hopefully good enough for top-tier or high-ranking schools. At minimum, a key undergraduate program. She awaited his triumphant moment. But the results left her stunned. He hadn't even met the minimum score for third-tier colleges. We later learned he'd been addicted to internet cafes since sophomore year. His grades plummeting while fake report cards deceived our parents. All that tutoring fee money had funded his gaming. Mom cried until her eyes swelled. Repeating like a broken record, "We worked ourselves to the bone for your education. How could you do this? You wasted our life savings." Relatives blamed her for spoiling him. My brother exploded, "I never asked to be born. Why aren't you rich like my friend's parents? I don't need your money anymore. I'll get a job tomorrow. No, maybe I'll just die right now. Would that make you happy?" Mom panicked. Terrified he might actually. I didn't dare cry anymore. Pleading meekly, "Ethan, dropping out isn't an option. You can't handle physical labor with your bad eyesight and soft hands. You've got potential, just focus and retake the college entrance exams. Mom and Dad are sacrificing so much for you." But Ethan's mind was already made up. He wanted to study computer science at that technical school, claiming it offered better prospects than university. The tension at home grew thicker by the day. When my high school entrance results arrived under the blazing sun, I knelt by the village chief's house praying desperately to every deity I could name. My future, and the promise I'd made to Sophia, hung in the balance. The universe played its cruel joke. Ethan missed the third-tier college cutoff by 5 points, while I fell 5 points short of my dream school's threshold. Guess it's fate. Mom sighed that evening after hearing I'd been assigned to the second-tier school. "Once harvest season ends, you'll join the factory workers. Your father and I need the help anyway." My hands turned icy despite the summer heat. "But the second school still sends dozens to college each year. Please let me try." "We agreed you'd only go if you made the top school." Mom cut in sharply. "Your brother's cram school fees are triple what yours would have been. We're barely keeping up as is. I'll study twice as hard. Ethan doesn't even want to retake exams. Why waste money forcing him?" "Enough." Mom's slap stung the air. "How dare you compare yourself? He's always been the clever one. This bitterness? You've only got yourself to blame for failing." The truth gutted me like shattered glass. "You never planned to send me anyway, did you? Whenever Ethan's needs clash with mine, I'm disposable. Why even have me if you can't treat us equally?" Dad's palm cracked across my face before I finished. "Ungrateful brats, both of you," he roared, the words hanging like axe blades in the heavy night. "If you're so capable, figure out how to get your tuition money yourself. If you manage to scrape it together, I won't stop you from attending second high or even sixth high. Where to get the money? I tried borrowing from uncles and aunts. But they said your parents already borrowed for your brother's repeat year. We don't have extra funds. They said. You've never been as bright as your brother anyway. What's the point wasting money on second high? I asked my homeroom teacher about financial aid or sponsors. He looked apologetic. Scholarships are reserved for top students from poor families who made it into first high. Even kind donors only pick high achievers. He pressed 200 yuan into my hand. Emily. My salary isn't high either, I've got my own family. I'm truly sorry, this is all I can give. I went to the county town seeking work. But they said I was too young. One place finally offered 300 yuan monthly with room and board. But only if I committed to 6 months without pay until the contract ended. I walked door to door from dawn till dusk, borrowing across the village. Everyone said the same, you're just a girl who only got into second high. Quit school and start earning. Help your brother save for his future wife. Only the old village secretary pitied me. But even he warned. Think carefully, high school takes 3 years. Even if you scrape together tuition now. What about next semester? Rain fell like pebbles against my face. The creek churned muddy yellow. A red plastic bag caught in the current, snagged by branches one moment. Swept forward by the next surge. Like my fate. So many times I thought I'd grabbed a lifeline. Only to have the next wave destroy everything. No matter how hard I struggle. I'll end up like other trash in this river. Carried wherever the current dictates. Maybe resisting destiny is too hard. Maybe I should just become mud. Become garbage. I crouched there sobbing into my knees until a voice cut through the rain, "Stop crying. Your tuition's settled." It was Tyler Brown. I'd seen him earlier at school when consulting Mr. Smith about vocational programs. Now he stood grinning through the downpour. After we parted this morning, I went to an internet cafe and logged into your account. Sophia was online. When she asked about your exams, I told her your situation. She wants you to know she's saved your tuition, she never forgot. I'd been too ashamed to contact Sophia since failing the exams. The next day, trembling, I dialed her number. "Emily, are you okay?" Hearing her voice after 2 years shattered me. "I'm sorry." I choked out. "I didn't make it into first high." She smiled. "What's there to cry about? Getting in to know. Too high with your brains must have taken everything you had. Emily. I know you tried your best." I choked out. Voice trembling. "Yeah. Maybe I shouldn't even go to high school." "Bullshit." Sophia cut me off sharply. "You have to go. Working these shitty jobs now. I finally get why education matters." "So what if it's no? Too high? They still send kids to college." She continued. Softer now. "I've known since we ran away that your parents were squirreling away your school fund. Those bastards never." Tears streamed down my face. "But you're killing yourself working 3 jobs. What if I waste all your money? What if I can't even get into 3rd-tier college?" Sophia's laugh held no humor. "Emily. As long as you fight for it tooth and nail, I'll never regret this. Remember, you're studying for both of us now. Consider this an investment. When you graduate, you'll pay me back double. You should have picked someone smarter to invest in." Her voice cracked. Smarter girls wouldn't have shared their candy with me during foster care. Wouldn't have stolen antibiotic ointment when my foster dad beat me. Wouldn't spend years helping search for my birth parents. We're best friends. Right, Sophia? Damn straight. We're each other's family. My parents gaped when I produced the tuition money. I claimed some charity sponsorship. Even roping Mr. Smith from church to back my lie. At dinner, Mom tried her usual shit, that no. To school won't get you anywhere. Give the sponsorship to your brother. When Ethan makes it big, he'll take care of you. I flipped the fucking table. You won't pay a cent. But want to steal my chance? You don't deserve to call yourselves parents. Mom kept hounding Mr. Smith. Mr. Smith. Remember Ethan? He's much brighter than Emily. Can your charity sponsor him instead? Mr. Smith shut her down cold. The donor chose Emily specifically. Stop scheming. They gave me $14 monthly while Ethan got $70 for his 5th senior year retake. Beg your sponsor for more. Mom said. Ethan needs proper nutrition for college prep. I didn't argue. After 17 years of favoritism, I stopped expecting fairness. No. Too high was brutal. Most students were city kids who'd failed elite school entrance exams affluent enough to coast through, planning to buy diplomas at third-tier colleges later. Meanwhile, I wore socks darned 3 times over, used pads until they overflowed, ate nothing but bean sprouts in the cafeteria. Every penny came from Sophia's double shifts at the diner. The shame burned, but the fear kept me moving, fear of failing her, fear of proving my parents right. In calculus class, I'd trace the calluses on my palms and hear Sophia's voice, "We're each other's family now. Fight like hell, Emily." The hardest part of winter was waiting for my clothes to dry after washing. Every dorm floor had coin-operated washing machines, but I couldn't bear to spend the dollar. Have you ever worn clothes dried indoors? That musty smell never really goes away. Those winters brought constant snow, the melting nights chilling to the bone. My brother had taken our heavy quilt, leaving me with a 6-pound cotton relic. I slept in sweaters with my coat layered on top, yet still woke with frozen feet, knowing I wasn't the smartest. I rose 30 minutes earlier than my roommates and studied by bathroom light after curfew. The cold eventually caught me. I developed hacking coughs that shook my frame. Couldn't afford medicine until our dorm leader intervened. "Take my leftover cold pills," she insisted. "Your coughing keeps everyone awake." Having rarely taken medication, those pills worked miracles. Within 3 days, my cough subsided, and ranked first in our grade despite entering second high after fever ruined her entrance exams. Her blend of intellect and work ethic made her uniquely qualified to untangle my academic knots. Through her tailored guidance, I climbed from 85th to 35th in class rankings by semester's end. During my monthly video calls with Sophia, I mentioned infrequently, suddenly silent. Sophia finally admitted, "I'm jealous." I rushed to reassure her, "You'll always be most important." I shared Anne's suggestion about Sophia taking college entrance exams as a working adult, like Anne's cousin did. Sophia dismissed it. "I've forgotten everything," but I mailed her my collected textbooks anyway. When my brother's college scores fell 6 points short of second-tier admission, Mom pushed for retakes. "I'll work before repeating," he declared. They ultimately enrolled him in a third-tier college costing $10,000 yearly. Through it all, Sophia's parting words stayed with me: "I'm glad you're not alone, Emily. Keep fighting. Emily, your brother Ethan has always been frail and never focused on his studies. If he's not going to pursue education, does that mean he'll spend his life farming? Only through schooling can one secure an office job and live comfortably." Tuition and living expenses were a significant burden, and Mom turned her expectations toward me again. "Emily, your dad and I are under too much financial strain. Maybe you should drop out," she said. I glared at her coldly. Is $100 a month for living expenses really that heavy a burden? Then keep your money, I don't need your scraps. Your favoritism is so blatant it's practically coming out of your assholes. Since you've set the precedent, don't expect me to support you in your old age. Dad flushed with rage and lunged to hit me. "How dare you speak to us like this? We brought you into this world, you think you can refuse to care for us?" I stood my ground. "I'll contribute 1/10 of whatever Ethan provides for your retirement. That's more than fair." Our shouting match escalated until I grabbed a sickle, ready to fight. Mom intervened. pulling me into the kitchen while wiping tears. "I know we've wronged you," she sniffed. "But your father and I will inevitably rely on Ethan. You know how it is in our village, families prioritize sons. At least we didn't stop you from studying or marry you off for bride money. We'll scrape together $200 monthly for your expenses. No matter how hard it gets." The wretchedness of their situation pierced me. Years of hardship had streaked Mom's hair with white, her frayed sleeves and discolored patch on the coat pocket bearing witness. Dad's back hunched deeper, his cigarettes downgraded to the cheapest brand. It twisted my insides, resenting their unfairness yet aching for their struggles. Wanting to love parents who kept wounding me. Yearning to break free yet tethered by occasional flickers of their care. After the academic stream split into arts and sciences, coursework intensified. Thankfully, Annie and I both made it into the accelerated STEM track as desk mates. During an online chat with Sophia, she asked, "The books you mailed arrived. Emily, is it really not too late for me to start studying seriously now?" "Of course not," I typed excitedly. "You're brilliant, you can absolutely test into college. You'll earn that degree yourself." "Oh, I could work at the cafeteria, free meals plus $100 monthly. You keep the money for tutoring." Sophia tore into me, "Your brain's barely keeping up as is. And you want distractions for chicken feed pay? An extra $100 won't bankrupt me. But if you take that job, we're through." True to her word, Mom began sending $200 monthly. The cafeteria charged $1.50 for meat dishes and $1 for vegetables, supplemented by pickled preserves from home. The budget stayed tight but manageable. Beyond academics, life still offered fragments of warmth, fending off summer mosquitoes together, huddling against winter drafts, trading notes under flickering dorm lights. The dim 5-watt bulb above the women's restroom entrance cast gloomy shadows, and the air was heavy with unpleasant odors. From some forgotten day onward, the long broken hallway light outside our dorm room suddenly revived, now beaming with sufficient wattage to illuminate textbooks without eye strain. Beyond our dorm building lay a narrow path where every night at 11, a grandmother pushing her leftover street food cart, sweet rice cakes and stinky tofu would insistently hand me unsold portions. "Can't keep these overnight anyway," she'd say. "Eat up, kiddo. Study hard but don't neglect your health." Her nightly surplus became my regular supper. My roommates proved equally kind, swapping homemade chicken cubes and ground beef for my pickled vegetables, claiming preserved veggies whet appetites while meat makes us fat. Whenever scholarship funds became available, Mr. Lou, our homeroom teacher, always prioritized my application. 3 high school years beyond academics taught me dignified acceptance, neither shrinking from poverty nor overanalyzing kindness. I realized that gratitude matters most. With future opportunities to pay forward generosity, whether to original benefactors or new recipients, ordinary as desert tumbleweed, I soaked in the ocean of knowledge, gradually reviving through persistent effort. Lacking innate brilliance, no sudden mathematical epiphanies. No photographic memory for vocabulary, I compensated through dogged repetition. Aware that mediocrity demands extra diligence. 3 interminable yet fleeting years left me craving more, unmastered equations, half-remembered classical texts, untouched English essays, incomplete science exams. The college entrance exam arrived like inevitable tidewaters. While awaiting test papers, I recalled Sophia's recent reassurance, "You've never failed yourself or me these 3 years. Just breathe through it." Only later did I learn she'd burned temple incense throughout my exam days. During score anticipation, relatives reminded, "Your parents' hair whitened funding your brother's 3rd-tier college. At least aim for 2nd tier." Yet Sophia's words resonated louder. Every midnight rice cake, every swapped meal, every flickering bulb repaired by unseen hands had nourished more than textbooks. Steadfast effort, not rankings, defined this journey. If you're only going to get into a 3rd-tier college or a community college, Don't waste your parents' money. Aunt Taylor sneered. What decent schools can kids even get into with that lousy teaching quality at the local high school? All Sophia's classmates who went there ended up in vocational programs. Consider these 3 years as just fattening yourself up a bit, better than a 15-year-old girl going out to earn money unsafely. On results day, the village was digging irrigation ditches. The aunties kept gossiping, 3 years wasted. She could have earned enough for a whole house by now if she'd worked. That Emily's got water in her brain, what a waste to spend money educating a girl. Mrs. Taylor spat sharper. Which fool even paid for her to attend that high school? Money down the drain. If she gets into a real college, I'll take her last name tomorrow. 3 years since middle school. Many village homes had added second floors. Some even installed landline phones. But my family stayed poorer. I crouched outside the village chief's door. The wall clock's tick-tock hammering my nerves. At noon, quitting time, the chief urged. Hurry. Call now. The line stayed busy. When it finally connected, I entered my exam ID. Mrs. Taylor passed by. Hoe on shoulder. Bellowing, Emily. Over 400? The automated voice began reciting my score. The chief pressed the receiver to his ear. Frowning. How much? Repeat it. Mrs. Taylor scoffed. Couldn't even hit 400? Mom arrived barefoot. Clutching broken sandals at the doorway, hesitant. Bracing for disappointment. I hit replay and speakerphone, total score, 552. Mom flung her shoes. Sprinted in. Nearly tackling the phone. How much? Say it again. 552. State University cutoff's 536, I'm 16 points over. Compared to geniuses. It wasn't remarkable. But it was my only stellar performance in 3 years. My teacher Mr. Lou always said I'd barely scrape into a state school. Yet this 552 ranked third in our high school, Sophia topped with 20 more. Mom's tears fell, splattering the floor as she gripped my hand. 552, 552. Dazed. I dialed Sophia's cell first. I got 552, 16 above cutoff. Silence. Then a choked whisper, you did it. Emily. You actually did it. So proud. Hanging up. Mrs. Taylor still loitered. Scowling. Must be a mistake. How'd she score so high? I stared at her with an intense gaze. Mrs. Smith. I'll go with you to the police station tomorrow to change your last name. My mother had regained her composure. She wiped her tears and smoothed her clothes. Addressing the onlookers, Emily scored over 550 points. This calls for celebration. I'm going home to slaughter chickens and ducks. If you don't mind, come to our house for lunch. Immediately voices chimed in, we'd be honored. We must attend the scholars' feast, let our kids absorb some of that academic luck. Our village was small with limited educational resources. I'd become the top achiever in recent years. Mom bought 2 long firecrackers from the village store. Dad brought out the premium liquor my aunt had gifted him years ago, which he'd been saving for special occasions. Later, his tongue loosened by alcohol. He slurred, raised Ethan for over a decade, never imagined Emily would be the one to make us proud. Fate works in mysterious ways. The village chief nodded. Girls and boys are equal. Any child willing to study deserves support. Mom bustled around serving food without sitting down. When I found her in the kitchen, she was crying quietly by the stove. I've failed you all these years. She choked out. Made you endure so much hardship. I'm worthless. My heart softened until she added, when you're successful, remember to help your brother. Your family, don't become like your aunts who look down on us. My resolve hardened again. The house buzzed with guests envying my parents' good fortune. They praised me while lecturing, never forget your parents' sacrifices. You must support the men in our family, especially your brother. Though happy, I felt an undercurrent of exhaustion. When my provincial university acceptance letter arrived, I messaged Sophia online, "Come back to study. Let's go to college together." After a long silence, she replied, "Really possible?" "Absolutely. If I made it to state university, you could get into an Ivy League school." She chuckled. "You overestimate me. I might not even make it into community college." But she returned. "Earlier, I'd convinced the chief to help trick Mrs. Taylor into surrendering the household registry. Sophia secretly obtained her ID. At the neighboring city's cram school, admissions officers frowned. "No academic foundation? Normally we'd refuse. If you insist." Tuition's $6,000. An astronomical sum. Public high schools charged $1.200 annually including dorm fees. Cram schools courted top students with scholarships. But complete beginners like Sophia had to pay full price. She wavered. "Too expensive. Maybe I shouldn't, even if I study. Might fail." These years as an underage worker left her with barely $5,000 in savings after covering my tuition and living expenses. I grabbed her arm. "I have money. I can support you." Laulu got me 3 tutoring jobs. 8 hours a day pays $140. Tuition can be covered with student loans. Since Lincoln High has low college admission rates, me getting into a top-tier university would boost their reputation. Laulu even helped me secure a 2,000 yuan scholarship from the school. It's already in my bank account. The college I'm attending is in the provincial capital. There'll be tons of tutoring and part-time opportunities. I can easily support myself and still help Sophia. "No buts." I cut her off. "You helped me before. Now it's my turn to help you. Sophia." I crawled out of the swamp. "I won't leave you trapped in it." During freshman year, I took every money-making gig imaginable: dorm-to-dorm phone card sales, Valentine's Day rose peddling on street corners, wholesale jewelry from the market, holiday flea market stalls. I even tried clothing resale for a while. My roommates used to ask, "Emily, you're always hustling, why never buy yourself new clothes?" When I finally reunited with Sophia after years apart, her entire life fit in one small suitcase: 3 summer outfits, 2 winter coats, worn-out shoes. Why did she refuse new things? Because of me. Why do I still deny myself comforts now? Because of her. She'd missed too many school years. Even with a full prep year, success wasn't guaranteed. I needed to save enough for a potential second attempt. Worried she'd skimp on meals, I visited regularly with groceries and milk. Every week, I haunted the computer lab, scouring missing person sites, posting on Reddit forums to help Sophia find her birth parents. Back then, before Weibo existed, Reddit and 4chan ruled the internet. Everyone said it was hopeless. But I'd chase even 0.1% odds for her. Sophia was whip-smart. She'd flipped through my old textbooks before entering prep school. Starting at the bottom of her class, she clawed her way up: 50th, 40th, 30th, then 20th. By the April finals, she hit 15th. Her teacher said maintaining this could secure her a decent state university. I cleared my entire 7-day May holiday to visit her. Instead, I walked into chaos, the Taylors screaming at school administrators. Some rejected suitor from a neighboring village had outed Sophia's whereabouts. Life's brutal like that. Even though Sophia was legally adult. Even though the Taylors weren't her real parents and never showed an ounce of love, their parental title let them control her life. They raged about the school enrolling their daughter without permission. The parents caused a scene at the school entrance, screaming about tuition refunds and calling Sophia heartless and ungrateful. When police escorted them away for counseling, they returned later wailing through megaphones, demanding their daughter back. Crowds gathered as the dean pressured us to expel Sophia. "I beg you," I pleaded. gripping Emily's arm. We've paid tuition. Sophia's an adult now. She studied so hard for college. This is her only chance to change her life. My voice broke remembering how Sophia had smiled through tears last week, saying maybe this is my fate. Emily. I'll quit school. Never. I'd shouted, rage boiling over. I'll kill those bastards myself. Sophia tackled me mid-rant, hot tears soaking my collar. Don't throw your life away. The tuition refund. Her words shattered when a trembling voice interrupted. A woman stood in the doorway. A mirror image of Sophia. Lynn? She whispered. My Lynn? The stranger collapsed into heaving sobs, clutching Sophia. Mom's here. I'm so sorry we lost you. DNA tests later confirmed Sophia was actually Lynn Johnson, the long-lost heiress to the Johnson fortune. Her biological brother Liam had seen my online posts about her struggles. When the Johnsons presented evidence of child trafficking, the Taylors finally released their grip. At the airport departure gate, Sophia hugged me fiercely. Thank you for fighting when I couldn't. Her new diamond bracelet glinted in the morning light, a real family heirloom. Not the glass beads we'd shared in our dorm. In my post, I attached a silly photo booth picture Emily and I took together when we were kids. When Sophia was 3, Mr. Johnson and Mrs. Johnson took their kids on a family trip. In the brief moment they turned to buy cotton candy, Sophia got kidnapped. Later, the police caught the trafficker who confessed all the children had been sold up north. For years, Mrs. Johnson searched every city across northern regions, never imagining her daughter ended up in our remote village. Sophia looked dazed as I grabbed her hands excitedly. Sophia, this is your real mom. I always said no loving parents would abandon a sweet girl like you. You've got parents who adore you and an older brother too. Tears welled up in Sophia's eyes. Is this true? Mrs. Johnson pulled her into a tight embrace. Yes. My darling. What horrors have you endured? When the village couple tried extorting money, Mrs. Johnson shut them down cold. Buying my daughter from traffickers is a crime. You abused her for years and now want compensation? I'll see you in court. My son became a lawyer specifically to protect his sister. Though the decades-old crime was hard to prosecute, the court summons alone terrified the villagers. Sophia's brother made sure of that. During exam season, transferring household registration across provinces proved complicated. Mrs. Johnson rented an apartment near Sophia's prep school, becoming her shadow. Mom's smothering me. Sophia complained weeks before finals. I'm an adult, not a kid. But after losing her once, Mrs. Johnson couldn't risk anything again. In our last call, Sophia whispered, Emily, sometimes I wake up terrified this is all a nightmare, that I'm still that beaten, hopeless girl. This is real. I insisted. You're finally home where you belong. Thank you. Without you pushing all these years. Don't. Family doesn't keep score. With Mrs. Johnson's care, Sophia's grades soared. She scored 546 on the college entrance exam, 14 points above the top-tier threshold. I urged her to apply where her parents lived. Your family's wandered too long. Time to reunite. I wanted to attend your university. Sophia pouted. Distance won't change us. We'll aim for the same grad school. Her eyes lit up. Let's try Harvard. I groaned. Mercy. Sis. Do I look Ivy League material to you? Try harder? It's not like Peking University accepts people just for effort. I shouted. Sometimes I really don't want to talk to you genius types. Sophia laughed. And I laughed bitterly too. Honestly, what college we attend doesn't matter. Because we've always been twin lotus flowers growing from the same muddy soil, two blossoms sharing one stem. Intertwined for life. Later, I found out nearly everyone in the village. including my parents, knew Sophia had been bought. Yet they all kept silent. Mom said, "The Taylors paid good money. You know how they are, if they found out I reported it. They'd tear our roof down." Karma eventually caught up. After Sophia returned to her biological parents, the Taylors' golden child suddenly fell ill. Tests revealed pancreatic cancer, the king of cancers. Untreatable. We sat together on the hillside watching Mrs. Taylor sob until her eyes nearly gave out, her hair whitening overnight. Mr. Taylor drowned his sorrows in alcohol, then fell and became half paralyzed. Villagers whispered the couple was never meant to have children. But Sophia had brought a brother with her, one the Taylors failed to cherish. So when she left, the boy died too. Maybe this shook my parents. They started treating me better afterward, sending money and calling often. But while I understood their guilt, I couldn't bridge the distance. We coexist politely. Meanwhile, Mr. and Mrs. Johnson treated me like their own. Sophia even tried setting me up with her brother once, though he already had someone. The third floor of the Johnsons' villa became Sophia's private sanctuary. Mrs. Johnson showered her with every trinket she glanced at, until gradually, no trace remained of the girl who'd once wept in the village temple. That rainy evening, we lounged in the glass-walled conservatory. Sophia tilted her head toward the pond. Look, twin lotuses. They bloomed moonbeam white, two flowers leaning into each other. Just like us. She smiled.